What happens when a quirky synth-pop track about science experiments, mad professors, and screaming become an unexpected hit on MTV, and ends up redefining what a pop song can be? The 80s weren't short on nerdy anthems. Weird Science turned teenage fantasies into a Frankenstein mix, and Mr. Roboto went full sci-fi rock opera. But in 1982, Thomas Dolby delivered something different. He wasn't chasing chart toppers, he was an audio engineer, a tech nerd, and a new wave oddball with a passion for storytelling. And when he released She Blinded Me with Science, he gave us one of the strangest, smartest, and most gloriously nerdy songs to ever crack the US Top 10. On the surface, it's all about lab coats and lunacy, but behind the chaotic energy and shouted exclamations lies a story about obsession, alienation, and the anxiety of falling in love while feeling like you don't belong. This is a closer listen to Thomas Dolby's She Blinded Me with Science. When Dolby wrote She Blinded Me with Science, he saw it as a promotional vehicle, a strange, cartoonish short film with the soundtrack, not the other way around. The idea came together while flipping through a science magazine and stumbling on a phrase so absurd it felt like a dare. She blinded me with science. It was a cliche, a corny line straight out of a sci-fi B movie. But Dolby thought, what if we played it totally straight? What if the song was built like a parody about how men objectify women, and a parody of the way pop music uses women as decoration? So he created a character, the bumbling intellectual, a man so consumed by logic and technology that the experience of desire short-circuits his brain. Musically, She Blinded Me with Science is a playground of synths, samples, and chaos. Dolby twists electronic sounds into cartoon physics, squelches, zaps, bleeps, and robotic hooks. There's no real chorus, just rising waves of tension broken up by the now iconic voice of Magnus Pyke, the eccentric British TV scientist who literally shouts the song's title. That wasn't a soundbite. Pyke was brought into the studio and told to yell out pseudo-scientific ramblings. Good heavens, Miss Sakamoto, you're beautiful, as if the song itself were melting his rational brain. And that's the trick. The song isn't celebrating science, it's showing a man coming apart because of it. The lab coat becomes a straitjacket. The music video, which Dolby directed himself, hammers the point home. He's institutionalized in a Victorian clinic for being blinded by science. Surrounded by tweed-suited scientists and the mysterious Miss Sakamoto, it feels like a Clockwork Orange crashed into Monty Python. But the genius is in the framing. Dolby plays the fool. He isn't the cool guy at the center, he's the weirdo on the edge, lost in his own mind, incapable of expressing what he feels without retreating into equations. That sense of alienation resonated with people, especially nerds, outsiders, and introverts, who felt overwhelmed by emotion and unsure how to connect. When She Blinded Me with Science hit number 5 on the US charts, Dolby was stunned. He hadn't expected the song to go anywhere, and he quickly grew tired of being labeled a novelty artist. In fact, it was his only major hit in America. The rest of his work, thoughtful, often introspective, never caught on the same way. And Dolby himself has said the success of Science felt like a bit of a trap. But in hindsight, the song holds up as more than a joke. It's a satire of male ego, a dig at how science and intellect can become shields against vulnerability, and a rare example of a pop song that gets away with being absurd and sincere at the same time. It's made weirdness cool, and that's something worth celebrating. She Blinded Me with Science isn't just a quirky blip in synth-pop history, it's a layered piece of satire wrapped in a lab coat, delivered with one of the most memorable screams of the 80s. And it reminds us that even the smartest minds can be unraveled by the simplest of human emotions. Thanks for watching A Closer Listen. Like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts. It really helps the channel grow. As always, be in the moment.